Hello and welcome to today's Sunday service meditation. As we settle in together for today's meditation, allow yourself to become comfortable, however that looks for you. And as you are comfortable, you may become present with your body, starting at the top of your head with your crown chakra and moving down to your root chakra, giving each part of yourself love. Allow yourself to relax and be at peace. Your whole self is in love now. Now, imagine and become aware of your feet set on a beautiful pathway. Your beautiful path may be in a magical forest. It may be a colorful street. It may be a moonlit path by the sea. Whatever your path is, it is the perfect, loving path for you. Before you is the path of love. And as you take the first step on your path, you release all judgment for where your path began and have only appreciation for your choice to step into your loving path. As you receive this love, you begin walking the path. As you walk, all worry, concern, or harshness of who you are or who you may be falls away, because you realize you are perfectly divine now. As you walk, you see the beauty around you and recall the beauty within you. And this takes you deeper into love. On your walk, you marvel and wonder on the heaven you feel within and without. As you look around, you recognize God is all there is on this path. You recognize God is all there is in you. This path of love is God. You feel in your heart that this path and moment satisfies all your desires perfectly. You find yourself settling on your path, and you realize you can have this path forever. You can be in love with God forever. You can make the choice of love forever now. You can always be walking the path of love with God. In this moment, you can choose to love yourself now. And as you make this choice, let your heart fill with joy, love, and peace, for you are with God. And as you settle with God, you bring your awareness back to the physical space you are in now. And you gently bring your awareness to your present moment and to today's Sunday service.
Hello, I'm Virginie and I will do the card reading for you today. For this I will use the deck by Angela Hartfield, Whispers of Love. And the first card I pulled for you today is this one. Consider your foundation. And the message here is, look at how committed you are to love. And it's exactly the message of today's sermon. Because today's sermon and this card specifically are an opportunity to reflect on our ascension path, to reflect on where we are on this path, and what's founded on love and what needs more love. As Shaleia explains us today, the Ascension journey, it's not about achieving certain things on the outside. It's about bringing love within, in every part of our being that needs to be loved, in order to uncover our true divine self. It's about becoming divine, because as the teachings of union teach us, we are already divine. So it's about awakening to that consciousness of our own divinity, to realize that we are divine. So to me, this card is, as I said, an invitation to reflect on where we choosing love and where we need to bring more love, and on how we are committed to follow the teachings and applying the mirror exercise to bring more love where it's required. So we can ask ourselves, in other words, are we or are we not choosing the path of love instead of the path of ego and separation? And we can ask ourselves this question at every step of the way. Do I choose love or do I choose ego? And we can always make a new choice, and we can always choose love where we have not been choosing love. So I will show you the second card, which is this one. It's appreciate this moment. And the message below, it's every situation is an opportunity to grow and to find love. And it's also really related to today's sermon, because as this week's sermon teaches us, our ascension journey starts when we start to understand that our good is not on the outside, nor in the future, but that our good is here and now. When we start learning to love ourselves in the present moment, just as we are in the here and now, in the present. Not the future us, not the more mature, experienced and knowledgeable us that lives in the future, on the other side of the upset or the challenge. Our ascension journey really starts when we learn to love ourselves in the process of going through the upset, in the process of overcoming the challenges, in the process of feeling our feeling, in the moment of feeling sad as well as joyful, in the moment of feeling angry, depressed, or desperate. They are the part of us that need more love, that need more us. Us living our life, our ups and downs, is the one who needs to be loved by us. All the way, at every step of the way. In the ups and in the downs, in our weaknesses and in our strength. In the sadness as well as in the joy, in the pain and in the peace. So this card is an invitation to appreciate the moment as it is and ourselves as we are in this moment. Because it's what we have, the here and now, and the person that we are in the moment. So it's important to always go back to that statement, to release control over the course of time and over the course of reality, to release attachment to our old self and stop projecting in the future. But just start inviting love and God within in the present moment. The third card I pulled is this one. Do something for someone. And the message below is give your attention to another. In the teachings of union, there is no difference between giving and receiving, as Shaleia reminds us today. What we give, we will receive it in a way or another. So it is safe to open up and share and give love to who's able and willing to receiving. And let love and flow and abundance flow through our lives, through ourselves, our relationships, our work, our actions, our contributions to the world. To me, this card is also a reminder that once we got something, once we have a breakthrough, as Shaleia is doing today with the sermon, once we learn something new that can benefit to others, it's important to share by spreading the news, spreading the message, sharing the experience we had, or just by embodying the love and the new choices we are making. Paying attention to another person, when it's done with love, respect, and good and perfect boundaries and unconditional love, it's also paying attention to us, to ourselves. Because our brothers and sisters are also a reflection of us, of our own self. It's not the perfect mirror as our twin flame is, who's our perfect counterpart, who share the same consciousness with us, but our brothers and sisters have also a piece that's for us to take and from which we can learn and benefit in every situation. So it is safe to receive love, to choose love, and to open up to others and spread love and share this new love we brought within ourselves. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I wish you to enjoy the rest of the Sunday service.
Hey everyone, this is Yorine. I hope you've been enjoying the Sunday service so far. I'm very happy to introduce Shaleia's sermon around the way of love versus the way of ego, or the way of love versus the way of struggle. Before diving into the sermon, I noticed that Soraya's sermon have been having a theme this past few months, and the theme is around this core idea to surrender the false belief that we have to fix ourselves, to be divine, to be perfect. And I really like that. I really like that she takes the time all these Sundays to really go over the misconstrued ideas about ourselves, that we need to push ourselves around, that we need to fix ourselves. Obviously, that's something that's really ingrained deep down into our society, into the hustle culture as well. And we really need to take a look at that, because that's not what we're learning through, I guess, unionism, the way of unionism and the teachings of union. And so, in that sense, our sermon is about knowing how to recognize the ways of ego and knowing how to let them go in order to find the ways of love. And what I want to talk about today is, I think, something that most of us struggle with before attaining union or harmonious union, and one of the maybe core things that we have to let go before, going to the next level of our twin flame journey. And this thing is control. I think a lot of us struggle with control, and sometimes without even noticing it, I would say. And what I mean with that is that basically we don't know how much we keep ego close. We don't know how much we hold on to ego sometimes. And that's not to say that we need to freak out and say, oh my God, my whole life is around ego, I don't know how to love, or things like that, I need to shift everything. No, that's not it. And that's funny, because thinking like that, freaking out, and trying to fix yourself again is one of the many ways of ego. And it just shows that sometimes ego operates in a very subtle way. And I guess this subtle way prevents us from fully claiming ourselves, fully claiming our divinity, and fully claiming our union. And I want to go over maybe my personal experience to kind of think of that. And, maybe some of the experiences of, some of our fellow unionists too. I used to coach with like Jose and Michaela, and I love them. They're part of a community. They're a good example, or role models for everyone. And the reason why I talk about them is that in their videos, when they talk about a few days before coming into harmonious union, they always take an example of what Shaleia used to say about Michaela, I guess. And what she used to say is that, she said it once, but it was that when you surrender your way and you do what we teach, you're going to have it all. I hope this is that. I think this is the sentence that she gave Michaela. And at first Michaela did not understand that, and then she really took a hard look at her life, and she began healing everything, and truly applying the teachings, and she came into union. And funny, because Jose's core block was control before they came into harmonious union. And so you can see that by controlling your life, by not applying the teachings fully, she was like blocking her harmonious union, and his core block was about control. And I say that not really to focus on Jose and Michaela, but because a lot of what Soraya is talking about is for me control. And I think a lot of what us as unionists we are experiencing stems from control. And control not because we want to manipulate our way into harmonious union, but maybe because we've been taught that way, and also because in a sense sometimes we haven't learned to recognize when ego is talking and when love is talking. And I say this because Soraya talks about the way we expect things from ourselves, the way we're hard on ourselves, the way we push ourselves around, the way we feel like we always mess up, that we're not perfect, and things like that. And all of this is the voice of ego, is the voice of fear. And sometimes it can even appear in very subtle ways. I remember in my own experience, sometimes I'm saying like, oh, this is too painful, I must focus on my work and volunteering, and maybe this will go away, or maybe like, oh, this is too painful, so I must sleep through it and it'll get better afterwards. And I'm not doing that consciously, but it's all this these little ways of ego telling me, oh, maybe I shouldn't look at it because it's too painful. I shouldn't feel it, you know. And I guess what I wanted to say, all in all, is that we need to surrender everything that we think we know. And also, we need to surrender the way we look at the twin flame journey, I guess. Because if we try to think through the twin flame journey, ego is probably going to insert thoughts into our process, and we're not going to be able to heal fully, and we'll never ascend if we work that way. So we need to really take a good look at the way we feel our feelings, and are we really feeling our feelings, or are we judging ourselves? And I think that's a big difference, a key difference in the way we work. And I see a lot of my clients, for example, in Ascension coaching saying like, I must be Zen, so I'm going to push away all thoughts of my twin flame, or I'm going to block them, or I'm going to go this way and I'll feel peaceful and Zen, and I'm going to meditate all day, and through that meditation I'm going to attract my twin flame. I say yes, but if you're not focusing on the apple that's rotting away, the bad feeling that you just pushed away, you're not going to have results that you seek. And that's really everything that Jeff and Shaleia teach. That's really the teachings of union, all in a nutshell. But sometimes in thinking that we're going to have our good and feel good, we push away the simple feeling that we just needed to look at and heal. And so I really want you to pay attention to that. And it's not hard to decipher, and that's why we have the teachings of union coming to help us, to support us, to remind us of where God is and how God works, so that we never forget and that we never come into the traps of ego in that way. And so if you think that it's important for everyone to know and to learn how to decipher these traps and how to see what is the true way of love, I would like to invite you to maybe tithe to the Church of Union or donate, so that we can, share this message of love and share this message of the true way of ascension to everyone on earth, so that we can put an end to ego and put an end to our own suffering, because we're really hard on ourselves, and we need to love ourselves more and not like force ourselves into a state of loving, because that doesn't work. That's control. But really see that we can come to that peace very naturally without having to manipulate our way through it ever again. And so, to go deeper into that, I would very much like for you to sit back and really listen to the message that Soraya has to share with us, because I think once you understand this message, it's a game changer. Here's Soraya's sermon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Church of Union Sunday service. My name is Shaleia, and I'll be your Minister of Union for today's service. Before we begin, let's get started with our 3 opening ohms, followed by our opening prayer. You can either join us aloud or quietly in your heart. And now for our opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Om, Amen. So hello, everyone. Like I said, welcome to today's Church of Union Sunday service. Today I want to talk about the way of love, and the path of love, and the difference between the path of love and loving and the path of ego and suffering, which can be disguised as a path that will help you get to your good. And so I kind of want to really show the contrast between these two paths and how they come up on the twin flame journey, and how you can identify them, and really how to navigate your journey, your ascension path with this work with ease and grace, and be able to really make progress. Because honestly, control gets you nowhere, and the other way just doesn't work at all. But you believe that it will, and that's why we put our energy there. But it never does get you what you want in life. But God's way always does, because God's will for you is love. And God is love, and there's no delay in terms of your good when you're walking the path of love. And so really the difference, the two paths. So we've got the path of ego, which is, like a carrot dangling path where you're always trying to get something, get to a place that you believe that will be better. Essentially, you believe that you'll be with God there, or you'll have a more loving or happy experience of life there. And ego has what is called ego games, and you play these games and you play to win and you're hoping for the best. And some of those games are like control, and well, really it is control in different forms, but judging yourself, being hard on yourself, having expectations, making demands, seeking outside of yourself, numbing addictions, avoidance patterns. There's a number of different things that can come up that can kind of keep you running in circles. And, ego will keep selling you on this whole thing of the carrot dangling and be like, you have to do this so that you can have your good. You have to do this so that then you can be with God. And so, it can even come in with spirituality. I mean, this is why it comes up on the twin flame path, is because even the desire to be with God, even the desire to become enlightened, the desire to come into harmonious twin flame union, the desire to just heal this block that's been bothering you your whole life, even these desires that are true, beautiful, and even righteous desires, ego can kind of come in and have you going about it in a way that doesn't serve you and can actually keep you really stuck and keep you kind of running in circles. And it's just not fun and doesn't work. And so it's not fun and it's futile. And so it's not the way that you want to go about things. But we got to be honest, at the end of the day, for most of us, that is what we have considered normal at some point in our lives. That's how we were taught. Like, for instance, here in the West, for instance, I don't know if it's like this I'm sure it is in its own way, but I know here in the West, it's like really like this a lot, here in the United States, at least, where a lot of times it's like very like success focused and achievement focused, like culturally. And there's this sense of like bargaining, like work hard now and then you can party and have fun, work hard now and then you can retire. Give up your free time and your enjoyment of life. And that's basically what, free time is representing in this case. Give up fun and play for, success and money. Or, give up your time with your family and people that you love and really just loving yourself, taking care of yourself, supporting yourself, in order to, become successful. And then you'll be happy after that happens. And so you're just constantly feeling like a slave. You're constantly giving your power away. And ego will just really present to you that this is the way and you're making progress and you will spin your wheels for a while. And I've done this, guys. And I literally hit a point where I was like, this is exhausting. I cannot even, and I'm not getting the results and this sucks. And I was like, okay, let me look deeper into the way that I'm approaching things. This happened to me when I first started with Jeff and Shalea's work, where I had that mentality, but I like wanted what Jeff and Shaleia were teaching. I didn't really like get the way to do it. I was kind of, just trying to go about things my way to have the result that they were speaking of. And yeah, just didn't work out, got really exhausting, and things on my twin flame journey just kept getting worse. It didn't make sense based on my understanding, based on the way I was doing things. It didn't make sense, because the way I was doing things didn't make sense. But I've done the struggle thing, and I've done the being hard on myself, judging myself, being critical of myself, thinking that I could fix myself, that I could change myself, that I could make myself different to make myself have a different result. Just this control, judgmental, harsh way of being that was just riddled with expectations and disappointment. I'm being a little dramatic, but I think I'm painting a picture here. It sucks. Whereas what I came to know when I hit that breaking point, and this is what really changed my life and changed this entire journey for me. I mean, it was really when I began this journey, because it was when I finally understood what Jeff and Shaleia were teaching in terms of the way, was when I finally decided to just love myself right now. And that's literally what Jeff and Shaleia teach from day one. But I came to this place of like, oh, there's something to this. I get it now. Like, okay, like, yeah, my way sucked. Yeah, 100%. And really started like committing to their teaching and like really listening to what they taught specifically about how to go about things. I started really paying attention to, when I was watching Twin Flame Ascension School, the way that Jeff and Shaleia approach their inner work, the attitudes that they have, the perspectives that they have, the way that they were just surrendered to God, the way that they would just walk with God and honor God, and the way that they would treat themselves. Because in Twin Flame Ascension School, Jeff and Shaleia talk a lot about how their journey with God is, and how they communicate with God, how they make decisions with God, and what their process is. And I began to really start letting that part of the teaching sink in, and that changed everything. All of a sudden, I started actually getting momentum and breakthroughs with my twin flame. I started actually seeing a change in myself. And more than anything, I was feeling peaceful and good about the journey. And it just felt like the purpose of the journey wasn't to solve a problem and get to a place. The purpose of the journey was to just be with God a little bit more today than I was yesterday. Like, just to feel more love and know more love, and get to know myself and get to know God. And it became this desire to just explore God, and just having this peace of knowing that I was going to love myself, and that was my purpose, and that was where my energy was going. And learning things like compassion, learning things like gentleness, and just being willing to meet myself where I am. A big lie that perpetuates this way of being hard on ourselves, thinking that it's going to help us get to our good and experiencing more love somehow. A big part of it is that we don't believe that we're divine. And so we believe that we're separate from God. We don't believe that we're divine. And so ego is like, I'm going to solve that problem. Like, just do this, bargain here, be hard on yourself, judge yourself, be like, push yourself, control yourself. And then I can solve this separation from God problem. I can, make you divine, because you're going to reach an outcome, again, that carrot dangling, and then you're going to be divine, and you're going to have this divine experience. And so ego really plays on that belief that we're not divine. But when we really receive the teachings of Jeff and Shaleia, it's fundamentally all about the truth that we are divine. And so I don't need to fix this problem of, an actual separation from God. All I have to do is release the illusion of a separation from God. That's a completely different thing. I don't need to become divine. All I need to do is love myself and release the illusion that I am not divine. And so really making this shift changed everything for me. I literally, like I said, I mean, you're really not on this path, like doing it the way that Jeff and Shaleia teach. Like, you're not on this ascension path until you get this. Because a lot of times we can believe like, oh, I'm a student of Jeff and Shaleia. I mean, I thought that. It was early on. I didn't know Jeff and Shaleia's work, but and even, listen, though, this took a while. I remember healing layers of this, and like being kind of surprised at the different places that this would come up in my consciousness. But to really be on this path that Jeff and Shaleia teach, to really go all in with it. And when you do make this shift, you're going to like start seeing real results, like much faster, and it's going to feel much better. This is really what makes the difference. This is what enables harmonious union to happen, because you're aligning with love, and love isn't a destination you get to by fear and struggle and control. Love is a journey that you walk where you're hand in hand with God every step of the way. And if you're like me, making this transition from this struggle life of going for the carrot dangling to the life of I'm just going to be with God, and I'm just going to love where I'm at, and I'm just going to be where I am and just love this moment with God and accept what arises and just walk the path, you're going to be actually surprised at how easy God's way is compared to egoic struggle. There's something that we say in this community to kind of describe this. We call it an energy leak. And ego is one big energy leak. And when you're doing all of that struggle, trying to get your good, you're basically pouring energy into something that has holes in it. And it's just constantly demanding more, and it's exhausting. And, with Jeff and Shaleia's path of just loving right where you are and love being the way, you get to actually honor and respect your energy. Like, you're not leaking it away. You're not investing it somewhere where it's not going to be fruitful. You're putting your energy towards something that's actually gonna make a difference in this moment. And like, I feel like the best way to describe it is like you choose love always in this moment, and the love just like expands and it grows and it develops and it matures. It's another thing Jeff and Shaleia talk about in Twin Flame Ascension School. And so instead of it being like a destination that you get to because you're not there yet, it's like an awareness that you wake up to. And you are there, but it's like your eyes open a little bit more. God gave me this vision one time where he showed me that like awakening is like literally like opening your eyes. And it's like God's glory is right like in front of you and all around you. And so like you're opening your eyes for the first time and literally all you see is light, and you can't like see any details. You just see brightness. And you'll open your eyes just a little bit more and you can start seeing kind of like some kind of a shape going on. And then you open your eyes a little bit more and maybe you can see like that there's like a face or an object, or there's something kind of in your view, but you can't figure out what it is, but you can kind of start to see something form. You open your eyes more and more and more, and every step of the way you're able to like see a little bit more of God and divine truth. And eventually you're able to fully see, and that would be perfect union, where you have no more upsets. You've walked this path of harmonious twin flame union, and you have nothing left to heal in your consciousness. It's all healed up and full awareness, full enlightenment of God and who we are as children of God. And that is like that, like your eyes are completely open and you can fully perceive and know the truth of God. And so I see a lot. The reason I wanted to share this in particular is because I see a lot on this journey that this is a common experience. And even if we're on this path of loving where we're at and we get it, like we get the teaching that Jeff and Shaleia teach, to love yourself, to love where you are, that love is the way, that peace is the way, that joy is the way, following your joy, serving your divinity, that we get that part. This old way of ego can kind of creep in sometimes, and we may find that we're being harsh with ourselves, or maybe it's just residual belief systems and patterns from that old way of being that can come up even when you're doing things the way that Jeff and Shaleia teach. And so I really wanted to shine a light on what that looks like so that you can identify it and release it really quickly. The first thing you want to really look for is if something feels really bad. As you're walking the twin flame path and you're choosing love, it will feel challenging sometimes because you're going to face feelings and, stuff going on in your consciousness that isn't always going to be like that much fun, because it's got to be released. It's like a call for love. It's love is needed, love is truly required in those places. So it may not always feel so good at first. And that's a challenge, and that's okay to face your challenges, to face and do your inner work. That's expected. But if the journey ever feels heavy, if it ever feels like you're powerless, if it ever feels like you can't ever get it right, or that you doubt whether or not you're doing it right, and you question yourself a lot, and you find that you're like nitpicking and being very critical of yourself, or you're comparing yourself to other people on the journey, if you find that the journey just begins to feel really heavy, then it's probably a pattern or a belief system associated with that other path. And so in those spaces, we can heal that with the mirror exercise and just really bringing love to the places within us where we feel afraid, or we feel like we need to control, or we feel like we need to do all that crazy egoic stuff. Yeah, it's crazy egoic stuff. But I mean, like these are patterns. They have a lot of energy behind them. Like we've all had it, on some level. And so it comes up, and so it's okay, and It's a call to be compassionate. And anytime that you see that something's out of order in your consciousness, or you see that, maybe you're, kind of getting into those old patterns of control and fear and self-judgment and criticism and all of that, like, it's an opportunity to have compassion. Jeff and Shaleia talk about this very clearly in Twin Flame Ascension School, how it's always just a choice to love. It's like, fear or love, like you can't have both, and you just have to choose love. And that the mirror exercise is essentially an opportunity to make a new choice, to love ourselves where we haven't loved ourselves before. And so as we're walking this path of union and of healing our consciousness with love, the path of love, what we want to do is we want to really choose continuously to love. And when we see something that's out of order, it's not an opportunity to reject that part of us that's out of order and say, I don't choose that. I'm going to push that away from me, and I'm just going to think positive, focus on the good path. That's a really subtle, like, ego trick, ego game. Like it can kind of creep in there where it's like, I want to do the right thing, so I'm just going to ignore the wrong thing, the thing that's out of order. But real love isn't afraid of any cave and isn't afraid of any fear or any challenge. And so love will just look at that and say, well, what do you need to feel loved there? How can I choose love in this space where previously I was choosing fear and control and rejection and judgment in an egoic way? And so, yeah, love is the way. There's never going to be a time that you're going to face something on your journey that the answer is going to be something other than love. And so it makes it really simple. But we must learn what love is. And that is really where the teachings of union come in, because most of us did not learn this growing up. Okay, no one really learned this growing up. The teachings of union weren't here when we were growing up. At least in the world today, right now, the adults who are doing this, it wasn't here back then. And there were other spiritual practices, sure, but this teaching wasn't here yet. And, we must learn, how to love, and we must learn what love is and what love looks like. And it requires a lot of humility and willingness to learn from those who do know. And Jeff and Shaleia know, they know how to love. And so where we don't know, we can learn from one who does know. And it's so important that we're willing to be changed by love, that we're willing to make those new choices, that we're willing to look at something that we've been doing our whole life and we thought it was the way, and we thought it was serving us, and even dressed it up spiritual, and it looked so good, and it looked like we were doing the right thing and we were serving and loving God even. That we're willing to look at it again and be honest with ourselves about how it actually feels and what its purpose is and what the fruit is, and get clear on what we're actually choosing so that we can make a new choice and align with love where we need to. And it's safe to do that. It's safe to really look at what we're doing, the choices we're making, the patterns that we have. And you'd be surprised, like, a lot of these things are very unconscious, and it's okay if there's a journey of coming to know that. But what I do know is that if you're ever going to heal, it's going to be because you chose to love. It'll never be because you chose to reject yourself. It'll never be because you felt like you weren't good enough. It'll never be because you were striving to get to the top of some mountain so that you could be with God, because God is separate from you. It'll be because you choose God now in this moment. You choose to experience the destination now, because the destination is God. That carrot dangling is just a symbol of God. That's all we're ever after, is peace, love, heaven, the experience of joy, the experience of our good. That's God. And with the teachings of union, we come to know that we're with God now. And it's not the carrot dangling, and it's not over there, and it's not, over this obstacle course, and then we can have it. It's now. And with God in this moment, we expand. Like I was talking about, like opening up your eyes and expanding that peace, expanding that love. And so it feels so much better to really be with love and let love make the difference in your life, and to know that love is the way. There's no trick to it, and there's no shortcut, and there's no alternative. I don't think that there could be a shorter way of doing it than to just be with God right now, just to choose to be with God right now. But there's no workaround. It's not complicated. It's not, there's, like I said, no obstacle course. It's just choosing to love. When you choose to love, like Jeff and Shaleia teach, that there's no difference between giving and receiving. And so when you choose to love, you are also receiving love. And it's essentially, you're one with love in that space. You're experiencing love. You're in alignment with who you truly are. And so that is when you are naturally attractive to all of your divine manifestations, including your harmonious twin flame union. And so you're there. It's just choosing to align with it. It's choosing to do things God's way, and to really, like, if I could give any advice on this, is to learn from Jeff and Shaleia. Let them teach you, let them love you. You know, I had such resistance to receiving support coming into this journey. I had a lot of upsets with authority, not really feeling like I could ever trust authority fully, not knowing that, you know, I could really be loved in that space. But the more that I have opened my heart to really receiving from Jeff and Shaleia, I've only been loved. And being loved by them through their teaching, and just through being a part of this community and doing this work, and being a part of this work, being loved by them through all these different ways has been the greatest teacher of what love is. It's love manifested. It's love in real life. It's love experienced and expressed. And just watching the classes and just, you know, receiving from them, and receiving from their heart and their love, it really is a teaching unto itself of what love actually is. It goes so far beyond the mind. It speaks to the soul. And to learn love and to walk the path of love is the most beautiful thing that we'll ever do. And it's the only thing worthwhile. And the beautiful thing is that there's no more carrot dangling, and that you can be with that beautiful love right now. And that's the gift of this teaching, is that you are divine, and you're already one with your good. You're already one with your twin flame. Heaven is real. Hell was just a dream, and it's time to wake up, and it's safe to wake up. It's safe to love and be with love and walk the path of love. So gentleness, compassion is the way. Loving yourself and accepting where you are, being completely honest about where you are, and knowing that it's safe to be where you are, and just choosing love there. That's the way. So I would like to conclude this sermon with our closing prayer, followed by our closing ohms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life, and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere, and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means that you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them, and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. And now for our closing ohms. Namaste.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this sermon as much as I did. I really want to talk about my favorite part of the sermon. I think I have two. One is that I guess the core blocks that we all experience, as Sarah says, is that we don't recognize that we're divine, at least in certain parts of ourselves. And yeah, once you recognize that, it's really a game changer. And once you understand the message that she's been talking about, it's really a game changer too. And I just want to tell you that you're not going to get it all in one go. You're not going to get it in a day. You really need to be patient with yourself and to understand that this is a process and to be diligent and humble and know that a lot of your brothers and sisters are going through the same thing and you have support. But you get that support through walking the path every day and studying the teachings of Union. There's no secret there because they're really the reminder of the true vibration, the true way to do everything, the true way to come into union. And it's everything we all seek in just this community, this body of work. And it's alive through us. And if you'd like to see it grow and thrive with us, we've got like so many things to do and share with our brothers and sisters, so many things coming up, beautiful things coming up. Don't hesitate to donate and tithe to the Church of Union so that we can always continue to deepen into this message and share and expand and just come together more and more with our twin flames, with our brothers and sisters, and so that everyone can feel this peace and this truth and can work with this all together. Because the more we are walking this path, the easier it will be to ascend and forget all suffering and surrender to this complete peace and joy together. So again, I hope you enjoyed this sermon and this Sunday service. And I would like to invite you as well to join us right after the Sunday service in our Facebook group, Unionism Facebook discussion group, where we have after church tea time, where we discuss the Sunday service and kind of process the healing around a cup of tea or your drink of choice. So take your drink of choice, coffee, tea, iced coffee if it's summer, and join us as we unpack the Sunday service and come and deepen this healing together. So I hope you have a nice Sunday. Namaste. See you next week. Bye.